Surprising. We haven't seen a soul all day.
You could use it as paperweight.
It's too heavy to carry. It's not worth it.
Okay, I'll carry it for you.
I shall never understand you, Joe.
I like to be happy. Come on, I'm starving. I want to enormous tea.
Pierce is the only other student nurse I can spare.
Oh, she'll do, just so long as she's familiar with cardiovascular problems.
Well, of course she is. She's third year, really.
Ah, here is Mr. Dettinger. Thank you, nurse. You'll be in room 1, Mr. Dettinger. Come along. Thank you, Sister Rolfe. I'll expect Nurse Pierce then. I'd have preferred Fallon, but there you are.
Thank you, Arnold. It's been a perfect day.
I didn't know it was our last.
Kiss me.
Ave atque vale. Hello and goodbye in Latin. There's more to Latin than just medical expressions, you know.
I'd never have guessed. Take it.
Why won't you see me again? You decided to work for your finals, win the gold medal, best nurse of the year.
Touchstone. Well, you must take it. I wonder if you'll be a good writer when you grow up.
I certainly intend to be.
Goodbye, Arnold. Don't come any further.
That's all.
Everything.
Joe, you're back. How's the sea? Did you swim?
You all right? I'm pregnant. Oh, no. Oh, perhaps you don't mind. I knew all along. You sort of do, really. Yes, I do mind. Quite a lot.
Well, whose is it? Do you know? I don't mean that rudely.
It's all right. I've just said goodbye to him. His name's Arnold. He wants to be a writer. He wouldn't like to be involved in anything, you know, messy.
So you wouldn't want to marry him?
No, he isn't someone to marry.
So what will you do, Jo?
I shall have to get rid of it. You disapprove, don't you?
Yes, strongly. But if you've really made up your mind, I'll help. Do you need money?
Money isn't a problem, but thanks, Maddie.
We could always apply to the NHS on psychological grounds.
No, that'd mean lying. I'm perfectly fit to have a baby. I just don't want one. I shall have to have it done privately in London. I know someone I can see.
Well, who? Someone here at the hospital?
Sort of. I'll tell you when I've seen him. See you later.
Fine, girls.
We'll be all right, Sister Bramford.
You wouldn't be if you were on my ward.
I learned far more on the wards than I do from any formal training.
Did you?
It's slave labour, the old probationer system under another name. Not quite, really.
Well, it does depend who you've got as clinical instructor.
I'm ward sister. Come on, Heather, Brumfit's gone, so we better run or else. That's right.
You're all keen this morning.
Sorry. See you later.
Oh, Lord. What? It must be the smell of everyone's bacon. Is Jo all right? She's fine. Just wondered.
Ah, Pierce, I've got a new patient for you, a Mr. Dettinger. Aneurysm of the abdominal aorta, I'm afraid. Come along. You carry on as usual, Harper. I'll deal with that later stuff. Thank you. Come along.
Come along, Miss Harper.
Good morning, Mr. Dettinger. Mrs. Nurse Pierce. She'll be looking after you.
Where's the phone? I want the phone.
You're not in your office now, Mr. Dettinger. Thank you, nurse.
Are you deaf? I'm paying for the...
See?
Yes.
You're here just in time, you know.
I got myself here.
Make it tidy, Pierce. Mr. Courtney Briggs will be here soon.
I must phone my wife.
After the surgeon's seen you. You can have every confidence in Nurse Pierce.
Stupid bitch. Now you.
Please, Mr. Dettinger, Sister Brumfit's ward is the best in the hospital.
I should hope so.
Not just because it's private, because of her. So please don't call her names in my presence. She inspires us all. Staff and patients. And especially us, the student nurses.
You're a student?
3rd year. I take my finals next month.
Learning on me. Oh, no.
I know all about your condition, Mr. Dettinger.
So you should. I expect value for money. Always have. Now, get me a phone.
That's right. You rest, Mr. Dettinger.
I can make it worth your while, nurse.
You've been given a sedative.
Come on. You know what I need. Get me my wallet. It's in my suit over there.
Good morning, matron. You on your way to visit Brumfit's domain?
I want to work with Sister Brumfit, certainly.
A friend of mine was admitted to the private ward last night.
Martin Dettinger? I saw his name on the admission list.
It's a difficult case in more ways than one.
When will you operate?
Well, tonight, I hope. Tomorrow at the latest. Thought you were already on your way to your conference, matron.
No, after lunch. I'm back from Amsterdam on Friday.
Dettinger's on bail, did you know?
One could hardly not know Mr. Courtney Briggs. It's been in all the newspapers.
Now will you get me a phone, nurse?
No, it wouldn't be right, sir. Anyway, you couldn't talk on the phone just now.
Ah, Martin. Got you here at last. No need to answer if it's difficult. Oh, Sister Brumfit, you know, of course. And this is Mary Taylor, our matron. No, introductions must come later, it would seem. Now,
You. Let me jump. I've prayed for you so hard since Monday.
Really?
I hoped to catch you before you popped out to the post office, Christine.
Who said I did?
The others. Joe, Julia, Diane Harper.
You can't do anything in Nightingale House without everyone knowing. Right, I went to the post office. It's a free country.
A registered letter, they said. That means cash, doesn't it?
Not necessarily.
You need me to help you, Christine.
Why?
You know why, really.
I don't.
I know how tempted you must have been. I do understand, believe me.
Look, either you say what you've got to say or go away.
No, it's important you tell me. The Lord needs a contrite heart. I'll see you tonight. We'll have a proper talk after supper.
Why should I? What about?
You want to confess, really. It's been on your conscience for almost 3 days now, hasn't it?
Leave me alone.
Yes, a good cry. That's the beginning. Till tonight.
Still very post-op. I'll take over. You get your meal stuff.
Thank you, sister.
Night. Night. Night, Diane. Night, Shirley. Night. Night, Shirley. So you haven't seen him yet?
No, he's been too busy.
You mustn't leave it too long. Unless you've changed your mind about the baby.
No.
Where's Christine?
Oh, she said she's going to have an early night.
She's not in her room, Diane.
Well, perhaps she's got the flu. Been sent to the sick bay.
What flu?
I thought you knew everything, Heather. With your hotline to the great information officer in the sky. Oh, don't worry. It's purely medicinal this time.
Don't be silly, Joe.
Our revered senior tutor's been talking about an epidemic. Then Sister Rolf would, wouldn't she?
You're always so grand about everybody.
Got rid of her. Can't stand do-gooders. Yuck.
There you are. Going to bed. Miss Diane said you wanted an early night.
I had a bath too. Did she tell you that?
No, nor did I tell her you stole her money. It's between us and our maker.
I'm going to bed. What's been yours?
No thanks. I couldn't sleep without it.
It was my own money. My savings for my mum's new coat.
If that were true, you'd have sent a cheque, surely.
My mum hasn't got a bank account. That's why I sent it registered.
Diane lost £40 on Monday. We worked out how it must have happened. Bless you.
Excuse me.
We decided it had to have happened after breakfast as we were walking across to Bromfit's ward. You were behind us. The money must have slipped from Diane's pocket.
Oh, go away!
If only you'd had the courage to tell me this.
I didn't steal Diane's money.
I remember glancing back. I thought you'd stopped to tie your shoelace.
I've got a stone in my shoe. Oh, go away!
I shall have to report this to Matron.
She isn't here. She's gone to Amsterdam.
Only till Friday. She'll make a full investigation. I don't suppose you'd be allowed to take your finals until it was all cleared up, if then even.
But if I don't get my... If I don't get my SRN...
I know. And Matron might feel obliged to call the police. There's that too, isn't there?
Have you told Diane?
No.
Why not?
She's not like us, is she, Christine? We're from poor homes, so I know how you feel. And I want to help you, shield you, bring you inner peace. This will be a secret between us and the Lord, Christine.
How?
You'll pay back the money in instalments, £4 a week for the next 10 weeks.
To you? Oh, no!
No, not to me. This money's dirty, Christine. No. Not to Diane. She doesn't need it. It's simply lost as far as she's concerned. And if I were to try and give it back to her, then I'd have to explain and it would all come out, wouldn't it? No. This must be between us.
I suppose so. Oh, God.
We're going to pay it to the Society for Discharged Prisoners. It's a registered charity. And I'll give you an official receipt. And each week as you pay, your burden will lighten. I know. I promise. At the same time, I'll be giving you selected passages from Holy Scripture to help you. You'll learn them by heart. If you fail to learn them properly, I shall, of course, have to report your crime to Matron after all.
It didn't seem like a crime. My mum hasn't had a new coat for years.
I'll see you tomorrow. Bring the first £4. I pray for you. Cash.
Not behind radiators, nor on windowsills, nor in your rooms. Do I make myself clear? Milk bottles must be returned, properly washed, to the kitchen. Finally, each and every one of you will check the notice board every morning for changes in the roster. This influenza virus is no respecter of persons, senior or junior, and you should expect to take over from staff on the wards at any moment, quite apart from your own normal ward training, that is. Where is Nurse Fallon? Has she reported sick?
I'll check, sister.
So shall I. Dismiss. Nurse Pardo? Are you free this evening? There's rather a good film on in Norwich.
Is there?
The Spirit of the Beehive. It's Spanish.
Oh, it's ever so old. Besides, I ought to be revising, oughtn't I?
Well, let me know by tea time. Please, Julia.
Okay.
Joe! It's me, quick! Are you all right? Rolf, she's coming. She wanted to know why you were absent.
I'm sure I've got this bug.
Are you drunk?
No. Hangover.
Come on. It smells like a pub in here.
I needed a pick-me-up, that's all.
I don't see Sister Rolf believing that. That's better. Did you take your temperature?
No.
Then I will. Just keep your mouth shut.
Nurse Fallon?
It looks as though she's got the flu, Sister.
I can smell alcohol.
Oh, yes. Joe took a nightcap last night, but spilt some on the bed. I think she's another candidate for the sick bay, actually. It's 40.4, Sister.
Well, I'll look in again at lunchtime. I can't say that I'm convinced by either of you. We'll see.
Phew.
For a future vicar's wife, you lied beautifully. Thanks, Maddie.
I didn't lie about your temperature, though.
Flu's all I need.
No, it's been changed. This afternoon's class will be in the lecture room at 3 o'clock. Will you tell the others?
Yes, Sister Gearing.
I had hoped we'd be able to go over to one of the wards, do some practical work, but apparently it's not convenient. All right, go and get your lunch.
Thank you, Fitzroy.
Oh, I do wish they'd stop chopping and changing all the time. It's no way to run a training school.
They don't want us, Mavis. We're a nuisance to them, you know that.
You going across to the canteen?
I suppose so. Oh, Fallon's gone down with the flu.
Since when?
This morning. I think she was hungover as well.
That girl drinks too much. She sets a bad example. I don't know why Matron allows it.
They're not children, Mavis. Hang on.
Oh, and something's upsetting Dacres. I found her in the downstairs cloakroom crying her eyes out.
She's probably in love.
Oh, I think that's hardly likely, Hilda. She never goes out. I suppose it could be one of the male nurses. Actually, when I asked her about it, she flared up at me. I was rather surprised. I mean, she's usually such a mousy little creature.
Here's your receipt. And this is your Bible reading. Be sure to know it by Saturday. Out of the depths have I cried unto thee, O Lord. It's Psalm 130. It's very beautiful. Off you go now, or you'll miss your lunch.
That's good. That's very good, Mr. Dettinger.
Bottle fed like a baby.
If you can grumble, you're improving.
That's enough. Nurse? Would you like to earn another bonus?
Another phone call?
No. Just answer a simple question. You've pumped me full of sedatives. Did I say anything? People do, don't they? Under sedation. Did I?
Only once.
What?
It sounded like German. I couldn't understand it. Guard something, then herbal or obel.
Anything else?
No. Didn't make sense to me. Does it to you?
Yes. Yes, it does. But I have to take another look to be certain.
Martin Dettinger? I thought he was just another crashed financier. Oh, put me in the picture, sir.
Right. Martin Dettinger has just had his abdominal aorta repaired at his own expense.
Really?
And they're not sure about him being a crashed financier either. He was on bail at his country cottage, all 25 bedrooms of it, when he was taken ill.
Well, surely Dettinger's the fraud squad's problem.
Oh, he was, until their chief witness died. Contract killing, it seems, a man called Dick Bewley, Department of Trade and Industry. He was using Dettinger for covered arms deals with Warsaw Pact countries.
Arms to the Eastern Bloc from us?
Officially known as high technology exports.
And Dettinger's had this witness killed as a cover-up?
It's possible. Mind you, others could have instigated it.
So as to get Dettinger on trial for murder and fraud?
Perhaps.
How did this Board of Trade bloke die?
Efficiently. Bullet in the head, body in the Thames. Suicide note. Well, that being a professional flourish and or joke, of course.
Good, the milk's come. You're up early. So I must slack a couple before the bell goes. 2 bottles? One for us and one for the demonstration room. We're practicing nasogastric feeding today. Oh, yeah, what's that? Oh, a plastic tube is inserted through the nose and the feed gets fed through it. Ooh, rather weird than me, love.
So I didn't go. I don't want to be Sister Rolf's favourite, and anyway, I hate old foreign films. Who's the guinea pig today for the demo?
Well, it should have been Jo. She's got the flu. I took her over to the sick bay last night. By then, even Ralph had to admit it couldn't be a hangover.
Well, I know it isn't me, thank God. Nasogastric feeding gives me the creeps. Ugh.
Pierce. She's next to play the patient.
I thought she was on ward duty.
Not since yesterday, so it's got to be Pierce. She's next on the roster.
You sound glad, Chris.
Positively vengeful.
Me? Why? Why should I? I must get dressed.
Oh, dear. What do we say? Chris is usually so mild.
I know. Mind you, Heather can be a pain. Jo loathes her.
Oh, I know the feeling. It's all that holy stuff. I think quite a lot of us set will be glad to see Heather suffer.
Nasogastric tubes aren't that bad.
Oh.
You said you were going to, why didn't you?
I just did.
Morning.
Morning. Egg in the book and fell asleep.
I did warn you.
Dettinger was born in Poland. Sat on a couple of war crime tribunals as a serving officer in 1945. Couldn't wait to be demobbed. He got into pharmaceuticals through Switzerland, electronics in France. Ran foul of the Board of Trade in 1971. Was that when the first arms deal was done? 1971. You work for us or else.
Well, who's us? The government?
Oh, yes. Tell the Russians anything you like, but don't tell the voters. And for that, you'd need a Dettinger or two.
And there's hard evidence of these undercover deals behind the Iron Curtain.
It's all here, and everyone blessed with unofficial official approval from a civil servant we've just fished out of the Thames.
And Dettinger fixed that.
So it's said. What do you think?
It would make sense.
But on the other hand, Dettinger's been dropped too. If he should happen not to recover, they could shove the whole thing onto him, and anyone else involved higher up will be in the clear.
And Dettinger's now in a private room, sedated, isolated. Do you want me to step on it, sir?
Oh, no, let's get there in good order.
I'm sorry, Mavis, but I happen to know you conducted a teaching session in my ward.
Brom?
Yes. You know as well as I do. She said I do the teaching on my ward. In future, please consult me before using my patients as clinical material. Really, she's becoming quite impossible.
Well, you may have trouble with Brumfit, Mavis, but who should I find in here when I came down this morning but Mr. Courtney Briggs, if you please, using my office to catch up on some private correspondence. He thinks he owns the place.
So does Brom.
Ah, well, she has her special relationship, hasn't she, with Matron. Are you taking the demo this morning?
Yes. I must go and check the room, make sure the girls put out everything.
Well, I've already done that.
Morning, sir.
Morning, we're looking for the main entrance to the hospital.
Oh, you come in the back gate, sir. But we were expecting you. My boss got a call from the chief superintendent.
Bailey.
Yes, sir. We're to give you every assistance.
Thank you. We want the private wing, actually.
You'll find it signposted, sir. Just keep right at the fork.
Thank you.
Mr. Hudson may well have permitted your visit.
He's the sector administrator, I'm told.
And I am the sister responsible. Mr. Dettinger is my patient. No one consulted me.
I'm consulting him now.
No! He's in no state to have visitors, let alone give a police interview. You could have saved yourselves a great deal of
Good
trouble.
morning, good morning.
Mr. Courtney Briggs, we have the police here.
Ah, are you local? You don't look local.
The CID, Scotland Yard.
They want to visit Mr. Dettinger.
No, you do have identification, of course. As consultant surgeon, I'm sure you'll agree I do have the right to ask.
Of course.
Oh, Chief Superintendent Dalgleish, I'm sure I've heard of you. Your commissioner's a no jum. I'm aware, of course, of Mr. Dettinger's position. It's a complex case.
Mr. Briggs.
Courtney Briggs.
This isn't a social visit. My information is that you operated on Dettinger on Tuesday and that his recovery is proceeding normally. I believe it would be in his interest to talk to us. So does the commissioner.
I can't guarantee his fitness, you know.
I understand. Now, can we go in, please?
In a moment. Sister?
Dalgleish? Don't know him.
If you don't feel up to it, Martin, I can easily...
don't feel up to anything. All right, I'll see them. I cut my teeth on the CID.
Well, you're in luck. 10 minutes, no more. And I think it best if only one of you goes in.
I don't accept that. Our procedures are as defined as yours, Mr. Courtney Briggs.
Won't you come with me? Oh, I'll call back after I've done my round, Martin.
You and the surgeon are old friends.
Who doesn't know Stephen Courtney Briggs? He's one of the best. So I got him. You're not with the Ford Squad.
A new aspect of your case has emerged, Mr. Dettinger, the murder of Dick Bewley. His death benefits you, wouldn't you say?
No. No, I wouldn't. I wanted Dickie alive. So did my defense counsel. He wanted to expose him as a liar under cross-examination. On top of which, I could be next. Do you realize that, Superintendent?
Tell me about it.
Joe? So you've got this back.
Thought you were never going to speak to me again, Stephen.
You called my Harley Street rooms twice this week, and you left a message for me here.
I need your professional advice.
Are you pregnant?
Yes.
How long?
Oh, don't worry. Not that long. It isn't yours, Stephen. I'd be out here.
I don't do abortions.
No. But I want you to recommend someone who will.
Sorry. You've come to the wrong person.
Oh, no, don't go, Stephen, please. I knew you'd be angry, and I do see why. But I also told myself you'd be generous enough to understand. And to help. Because you're the best person to help. Professionally, that is. You know you are. Please.
For old time's sake.
If you like, yes.
But I'm as unsentimental as you are, Joe. And I'm against. On principle.
So you're saying that your deals with the Eastern Bloc were fully sanctioned by the government?
Yes, but with no records kept on their side. They wanted the trade. They knew my price. They didn't like it.
Or you?
What does that matter? I supplied a confidential service in a highly sensitive area. So it cost them. No one ever likes that.
And now you consider that you've been framed?
Yes. And I'm damn vulnerable, I can tell you.
Was there any particular nurse attending you here?
Why?
Just answer, Mr. Dettinger. It'll save time.
Yes. She's gone back to her set now.
Set?
Third-year student nurse. They work on the wards. Her name's Pierce. Heather. I must list now.
Yes, of course.
Oh, one last thing. You too can be sat on Dalgleish. Don't forget that.
Thank you, Mr. Dettinger.
How much did you believe of that, sir?
More than I expected, John.
Superintendent, you stayed 25 minutes. Mr. Courtney-Briggs said 10.
Well, we did have a great deal to discuss.
If I find you've upset him, I shall report the matter.
We didn't. We shall, of course, need to see him again.
Will you indeed?
In the meantime, where can we find Nurse Pierce?
Why her?
Where can we find her?
Well, I'm not at all sure that you can. She's very much involved with the lecture demonstration this morning. Excuse me, I must check, Mr. Dettinger.
Where is that?
The lecture demonstration.
Nightingale House.
Where else?
Dalgleish! I trust Sister Brumfit wasn't too abrasive. She's a good soul, really, but used to ruling her roost, you know.
We had a useful interview. I'm sure it did tire Dettinger, but that was unavoidable.
Oh, quiet. Just doing a job, quiet.
Which is the quickest way to Nightingale House?
It's at the back of the grounds. I was walking across myself. Why do you ask?
I'll come with you, Tommy. John, get on to London, will you? Start checking the record.
Sir.
Am I to presume that Martin's problems have become more than financial?
It seems like it, though I never assume anything.
Really? No policeman's hunches?
They're mostly distorting mirrors, I find, reflecting one's impatience to get the job finished with.
Clearly a thinking man's policeman.
What are his chances of pulling through?
Well, he's got a will of iron. Well, so has Sister Brumfit, actually. When she makes up her mind that a patient isn't going to die, he usually doesn't. The fact remains, in this case, 50-50, I would have thought.
Is that all?
Nightingale House is rather secluded. Primarily, it's a nurse training school, and it accommodates our student nurses. Not all of them, of course. Matron has a flat on the top floor, as does Sister Brumfit. The place is an architectural monster, as you can see, and very difficult to heat. The the demonstration's being taken by our clinical instructor, Sister Gearing.
Well, it is Nurse Pierce I need to see, not the demonstration.
I'll just take a look, see where they've got to.
Right.
You're out of luck, I'm afraid. Nurse Pierce is playing the patient, so I can't call her out.
How long will it take?
20 minutes, half an hour. Why don't you come in with me? No one will mind. I'll try and speed things up.
Do senior surgeons usually take such interest? I mean, in the training of nurses?
No, they don't. I'll lead the way.
A laryngectomy, sister.
Yes, quite, a laryngectomy.
Please, we're invisible. Do continue.
Yes, well, Nurse Dacres has just been describing our model patient's history and treatment. Mrs. Stokes, age 50, mother of 4, has had a laryngectomy. Now, girls, we have the problem of a post-operative patient already seriously undernourished and unable to take food by mouth. That means what? Yes, Nurse Harper.
Nasogastric or rectal feeding, sister.
Good all.
Not rectal feeding. The rectum can't absorb sufficient nourishment.
Well, nasogastric feeding, then.
Quite. Please continue, nurse. Explain what you are doing at each step.
Here we have the sodium carbonate mixture for cleaning the nostrils. Large and small syringe. Lubricant. Litmus paper and gauze. Ryle's tube.
And the feed, nurse, what are you giving her?
It's just warm milk, sister.
We did it like a baby's bottle, sister. Heated it to body temperature, 37 centigrade.
But if we were dealing with a real patient, would milk be enough?
Well, no, we'd use soluble protein, eggs, vitamin preparations and sugar.
Good. If tube feeding is to continue for more than 48 hours, we must ensure that the diet is adequate in calories, vitamins, carbohydrates, proteins. Is your patient conscious, Nurse Pardo?
Well, yes.
Well, in reality, she might not be, but that's another matter. What's next?
We can begin, sister.
Well, first you must reassure your patient, nurse. Never forget that. Always explain exactly what you are doing and why. Go on.
Well, Mrs. Stokes, you need nourishment. And by using this tube, which is ever so much easier to take than it looks, we're going to give you your first meal since the operation. Just relax, please, and don't worry, it won't hurt.
No, Nurse Pierce, don't help. Let them do it. Mrs. Stokes wouldn't help, would she? Go on.
Just relax.
Is this normal hospital practice?
It's the best way. Good for them to learn on each other. Better than on a serious deal patient.
That's right. Now swallow hard. That's good.
Explain your next action, nurse.
I'm going to use this 20ml syringe to aspirate some of the gastric juices.
Why?
To test that the end of the tube has reached the stomach, sister.
Good. Now, what colour is the litmus paper?
Pink, sister.
That tells us what? Nurse Dawson.
The tube has reached the stomach, sister.
Good. Right, now let's secure the tube with the tape. Around the nose. Nice and firmly. Good, syringe. Right, now the syringe is connected and we're ready to administer the feed. Is there anything else we should know, Nurse Dacres?
I don't think so, except that you have to pour steadily.
Right. Reassure your patient again. Hold the syringe a little higher, nurse.
Well, Mrs. Stokes, we're all ready. Are you feeling all right? Comfortable?
did you do that? Get her on her back. Come on, come on.
Stop. Go back, please, nurse.
An amble bag, nurse, quickly.
What's wrong with her?
Cardiac arrest. She's been poisoned.
From the feed?
Possibly.
Where's an external phone?
Sister Wilson, front hall on the left.
Nobody leave the room. Just carry on with what you're doing.
Who are you?
It's all right.
Look, you can't just come in here and use
It's
the
okay.
telephone, you know.
Police headquarters. Chief Superintendent Dalglish here. I want to speak to Chief Superintendent Bailey, but first of all, will you relay a message to Inspector Massingham, Tango Charlie 30?
Tango Charlie 30, go to Nightingale House immediately. Tango Charlie 30, go to Nightingale House immediately.
Would you now put me through to the Chief Super? Stay here. Bill. Adam Dalglish. There's been an accident in the demo room. I want you to stay here. Don't let anyone in or out. That includes her.
Sir.
Blimey, who does he think he is?
Well, he's my boss.
Oh, yeah. Boss of what?
Not a hope. She's dead, by any definition. Legal or clinical.
You couldn't find an antidote?
It wasn't time. Whatever hit her stomach caused cardiac arrest anyway. Nothing I could do.
I see. Right, could you leave the body? Please stand back. Thank you. Would you mind joining the others? Thank you.
Terrible accident.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Accident, my... A lethal toxic got into that feed. It was put there deliberately. It must have been. There is no other explanation. Who supplied the milk for this?
Mr. Courtney Briggs, I called the police.
For God's sake, man, you are the police!
And you're still in shock, probably, as I'm sure most of us are. Have you got something to cover the body, please? So let's observe the correct procedure, shall we, as witnesses?
Yes, no murder.
Now, why do you say that?
Because it is patently obvious.
I think we should keep our mouths shut and our minds open, don't you?